After 14 years of marriage and working with hundreds of couples and individuals, have come to a conclusion that I need to share with you. Every great marriage is built, not found. We grow up with this fairy tale idea that someone out there is the one. And when we find them, the marriage will just work like magic, like destiny. In fact, some people think there is this destiny person that God has ordained from them from heaven. And once they find the person, it's bliss galore. But that is not how it works. You can find a good partner. You can find someone who loves you, who treats you well while you're dating, who makes you laugh. But even with the best partner in the world, you don't find a good marriage. You build one. That is why you can see people who married a good person and can still get a divorce. Two good people can get a divorce. Two good people, and you're like, oh, these two people are good, and they get a divorce. Because building a marriage requires having the right tools, the right foundation, the right mindset. So today, I want to share 5 mindsets that are absolutely essential if you're going to build a marriage that lasts. These are not theories I read in a book. These are things that I have watched played out in working with couples who struggle in their marriage. If you're married, engaged, or even just hoping to be married one day, this is for you. So mindset number 1, love is a verb. This first mindset might be the most important one you need to hear. Love is not an intangible thing that we feel. Love is active. It needs momentum. Now, I know that doesn't sound as romantic as what we see in the movies or what we've heard. In the movies, love is this overwhelming feeling that sweeps you off your feet, carries you through everything. But you know the reality in real life, feelings come and go, they ebb and flow. They are influenced by a lot of things, by stress, by hormones, by sleep, by whether you are hungry or not. If you build your marriage on feelings, you are building on shifting sand. You don't build a good marriage based on how you feel on any given day. You build a good marriage based on the decisions you make over and over again. And this is why I see couples get stuck. They get stuck on feelings. Oh, I don't feel like this. I don't feel like having sex. I don't feel like talking to her. I don't feel loved. I don't feel the spark anymore. Feel. So because they don't feel it, they stop building. But think about this. Do you stop building a house because you don't feel great one day? No, you keep showing up, you keep laying the bricks, you keep doing the work, whether you feel like it or not. Marriage is the same. Love is a decision to hold their hand even when you are annoyed. A decision to speak kindly even when you are frustrated. A decision to still serve them dinner even when you are angry. A decision to stay when living feels easier. Always remember, the feelings you want to experience will only follow the actions you take. But if you keep waiting for feelings, you'll be waiting for a very long time. Mindset number 2, marrying who you love is not as important as loving who you marry. And I need you to really hear this one, because the way we focus so much on marrying who we love, if we realize that loving who you marry is the real deal, do we know that some of our grandparents were betrothed to each other? Yet they were able to make their marriages work. So yes, while it's important to marry who you love, I think it's even, or not even I think, I believe it is more important to love who you marry, because marrying who you love is just the first step. It's the beginning of the journey. It's not the destination. The real work is in choosing to love that person you have married. Note that I said choosing, not feeling. So loving them on the days when they are easy to love, and loving them on the days when they are not. Loving them when they are at their best, and loving them when they are at their worst. Loving them when they make you laugh, and loving them when they make you want to pull your hair out. See, it's easy to love the idea of someone. It's easy to love the version of someone that shows up for the date nights, that's perfect, that has money, that's looking nice. But loving who you actually married is about loving them with their quirks, their flaws, when they don't look as pretty as when you chose them. That is where the real building happens. I've worked with couples who were so in love on their wedding day, head over heels in love. In fact, everybody was like couple goals. They couldn't keep their hands off each other. And 3 years later, they are in my sessions barely able to look at each other. What happened? They both stopped loving who they married. That's the conclusion of it. They stopped being kind. They stopped being patient. They stopped being considerate and understanding. They stopped being respectful. And when all of these things are lacking in marriage, even that person you claimed to love can look like the person you hate to see. So this is my question for you. Are you still choosing to love who you are married to today? The person who leaves their socks on the floor, the person who doesn't always say the right thing, because that's the person who really needs your love, not the fantasy image of the person you have, the real person that you're living with. Mindset number 3. Your spouse cannot meet all your needs. This one is one that surprises a lot of people, but it's absolutely crucial. Your spouse cannot meet all your needs. When I got married, I thought my husband would meet my every need. I know you want them to. I know it feels like, oh, they should if they love me. After all, they're your partner, your best friend, your lover, your everything. But unfortunately, they can't. Why? Because they are not God. And expecting them to be is a setup for disappointment for the two of you. When you expect your spouse to meet your every emotional need, every spiritual need, every relational need, every need for validation and affirmation and entertainment and everything, every need for purpose, for fulfillment, you're putting a weight on them that no human being can carry. Only God can carry that. And this is what happens. They will fail. Yes, they will, because they are human and humans have limits. Emotional capacity limits. We all have limits. Timing, sometimes we're tired, sometimes we are stressed, sometimes we're even dealing with our own stuff, even in the marriage. And when they inevitably can't meet one of your needs, you feel disappointed. You start to feel rejected. You start to feel unloved, and you think they don't love you. They do. You are the one whose expectations are unrealistic. The healthiest marriages are the ones where you can find purpose and joy in your own life, first of all, and bring that into the marriage to complement your spouses. It is two people who can find their own joy and fulfillment when their spouse has limits. Your spouse should not be the only source of your joy. There should be an addition to it. You should be able to find your own joy and your fulfillment. Mindset number 4, love is a choice. Likeness is developed. This next one might ruffle some feathers, but I need to say it anyway. Love is a choice. Likeness is developed. Let me explain what I mean. Yes, your spouse should love you unconditionally. We know that. That's the covenant they made. For better, for worse, richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. We know that love is a commitment that doesn't depend on your performance. But can I tell you the truth? Marriage becomes so much more joyful when your spouse actually enjoys who you are, when they like being around you. Some of you are not likable. When your company is a pleasure, not a burden, when they look forward to coming home to you, if you are consistently rude, mean-spirited, harsh, critical, or emotionally distant, nobody is going to like you that way. You're going to make it hard for them to like you. You can't treat your spouse poorly day after day and then wonder why they don't seem excited to spend time with you. You can't be difficult to live with and just expect them to say, oh, love me as I am. No, likeness is developed. It grows in the soil of kindness, respect, thoughtfulness, and genuine care. The couples who have been happily married for decades and still like each other, they didn't get there by accident. They got there by consistently choosing to be someone worth liking. So this is my question. Are you easy to like? Are you the kind of person that your spouse wants to come home to? Or are you always angry, mean, harsh? All of that will ruin your marriage. Mindset number 5. I once read a quote that says, a good marriage is between two good forgivers. And there's nothing truer than that statement. So this is it. You will trigger and annoy each other many times, and that's okay. So this particular mindset, it will save you from unnecessary divorce. If I tell you the number of times I've had to forgive my husband in this beautiful marriage we have, I mean, this beautiful marriage you're all seeing, it's more than 70 times 7. And I'm sure my husband will say the same. Marriage will expose your triggers, your traumas, your unhealed parts, the things you thought you dealt with. They will show up again over and over. The wounds from your childhood, they will get poked. The coping mechanisms you develop to survive, they will be tested. And all of this means one thing: you will need to forgive that man and that woman many times over. When you see a beautiful marriage, what you are seeing is really years of forgiveness, years of triggering each other and getting over it, years of growing and learning together. When your spouse triggers you, it is easy for you to tell yourself a story. Oh, we're not compatible. They are not the one. Or maybe I made a mistake. In fact, in my first year of marriage, I packed my bag twice and I said, oh, we're not compatible. But I'm sure you know where the story ends right now. So what I'm saying is that something that existed long before your spouse came along, all of those things will be triggered. I've worked with couples who spent years thinking they married the wrong person, only to realize that they were carrying unhealed wounds into every interaction. The problem was not their spouse. The problem was the lens they were seeing their spouse through. Now, let me be clear. This doesn't excuse abuse, neglect, or, patterns of harm. Abuse is inexcusable. But for most couples, the everyday annoyances, the repeated arguments, the things that drive you crazy about each other, those are actually opportunities to forgive, to grow, to heal, to become more patient, more understanding. Because two different people with two different backgrounds, with two different personalities, two different ways of seeing the world, and you think everything is going to be smooth. No, you're going to rub each other wrong sometimes. It is a sign that you are human, and that calls for more grace and more forgiveness. That choice determines everything. So let me leave you with this. A great marriage is not something you find, it is something you build. You can find a good partner, but you don't find a good marriage. You build it. You build it with every decision to love, whether you feel like it or not. With every choice to see your spouse as they are, not as you wish they were. With every recognition that they're human with limits, just like you. With every effort to be someone that is worth liking. So which of this mindset hit home the most? Was it number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Drop it in the comments and I will read every single comment I get. And don't forget, if this video helped you, please like and subscribe. It helps more people find our content. See you next time. Bye.